The heart of any landscape is a working irrigation system. If sprinkler heads break, emitters clog, or systems are not maintained, the entire landscape will suffer. Extreme weather in Las Vegas, especially summer and winter, can take a toll on watering systems, so it's important to protect your yard's lifeline throughout the year. While winter in southern Nevada is mild in comparison to other parts of the country, we do experience bitter cold and freezes. Take these precautionary steps to prevent pipes from freezing and bursting. Your first chore is simple. Disconnect and drain garden hoses you don't regularly use in winter.
Hoses can trap water inside of them if there's anything left inside. That water can freeze and expand and either crack or break your hose, so it's best to disconnect it from the faucet and just lay it out and drain it the best you can so that there's no water inside. Also, the faucet itself needs to be protected because it can freeze and break as well. So you really want to try to protect that by putting a cover over it. There are special faucet covers made for that. If not, you can wrap it with a towel or something to keep it from freezing.
The next step, bury exposed drip lines or cover them with a few inches of mulch. This will help to insulate them against water that could freeze inside and burst the lines. Next, wrap exposed irrigation pipes with pipe insulation, an insulated faucet sock, or an old towel secured with duct tape. Loosely drape a towel over an exposed irrigation backflow device or vacuum breaker and cover with a tall bucket that touches the ground. Nurseries and home improvement stores sell decorative protective gear and sleeves as well. When you cover your backflow prevention, ensure the ports are not obstructed.
The backflow preventer or anti-siphon valve is one of the most expensive parts of your irrigation system, so it's important to keep this from freezing because this bell here can get damaged and is very expensive to replace. So the pipes can be protected by the pipe wrap, which should be overlapped as you put it around the pipes, but the top needs to be wrapped as well and protected. That's very important. So you either need to cover this with rags or something or towel and tie it. Try not to obstruct the entrance here to the valves in case you need to turn those off or on if this does freeze and break. But the easiest is to get a cover that are specially made for these that slip right over it, and that way you protect it and you can take it off if you need to get to it very easily, and it's really the best way to protect these.
Finally, locate your water shutoff valve and learn how to turn off water at its source. Doing this will save you from major damage caused by leaks or burst lines. The next item on your to-do list is to protect your plants from the cold. Add an additional layer of mulch to the plants in your landscape. Mulch is a top dressing that covers the soil and protects plant roots from freezing. It also helps to conserve moisture so you don't have to water as often.
Mulching is a good way to protect surface roots of plants from freezing. A good layer of 1 inch to 2 inches of mulch around the base of the plant will protect those surface roots. Now mulch can come in different forms. Organic mulch is the best thing to use, but inorganic mulches like rock can be protective as well. This has a nice deep layer of rock which will probably insulate it fairly well, but if it's a shallow thin layer, it's best to pull that rock back, put a nice inch to 2 inch layer of mulch around the base of the plant, and then cover it back over with your decorative rock. And then that way you'll have that insulating ability for the plant roots.
Your potted plants will appreciate some warmth too.
Frost-sensitive plants like tropicals and other things that can be easily frozen, they should be protected. A lot of people will grow those in containers or pots. Those should be brought in a protected area, say a patio or up close to the house where they have an overhead protection from cold. That will usually protect them well enough. Also, if they're facing south or west where they get the warm sunlight during the day, that will also help to keep them a lot warmer. But in general, you should protect anything that's frost sensitive by bringing it inside, sheltering it. If it's in the ground and a little hardier, like most of these plants behind me here are drought tolerant, very hardy ornamentals. If there is some frost sensitive items, you can protect these by covering them with burlap or old sheets or blankets, or even an insulated cover that are made specifically for plant covers.
With these winterizing chores out of the way, you'll lighten the load of work in your landscape for the rest of the season. By late winter, you only have one more task to complete to prepare your yard for spring: prune your trees and shrubs.
When pruning plants in the winter, you should consider both evergreens and deciduous plants as separate for pruning purposes. Evergreens such as these Indian hawthorns and the euonymus are fairly hardy and will take quite a bit of frost without any problem. If they do get a really hard freeze, it can discolor them or sometimes even burn the tops. The new growth especially is more tender. Now if they do that, you're best not to prune those until after the cold weather is all finished. That way you protect the lower parts of the plant from freezing anymore. Now deciduous plants such that as this tree, some of the shrubs that naturally lose their leaves during the winter, those are not harmed by the cold. They're very hardy. But I would not prune them in the early winter. I would wait until later winter is the best time, and to prune those back nice and even right before all the new buds start swelling to open up. And then that way you get a good feeling for which direction those buds are going to grow out. You can trim it properly and it will fill out much more even.
Last but not least, plan a water-smart landscape now. Spring is a prime time to plant in southern Nevada, and you'll need to do your homework before the seasons change. Start by trading in your turf for a yard that requires far less water and maintenance. Apply for the SNWA's Water Smart Landscapes Rebate Program, which offers $2 for every square foot of grass removed and replaced with water-efficient landscaping. Winter is the ideal time to interview water-smart contractors. You can find a list of qualified contractors at snwa.com, along with free professional landscape designs, a plant search database, and many more tips to help you maintain a desert landscape and be water smart. Winterizing your landscape may take some time, but it's well worth it. Protect your irrigation and pipes. Give your cold-sensitive plants mulch and sun, and prune shrubs that really need it. Finally, trade your lawn for a water-smart landscape. Reporting for Waterways, I'm Jason Gifford.